All right, so like I said in the video that I posted at the very beginning, I'm going to try to get back to making more regular videos explaining because of the change in format here at the very beginning. We got used to using certain strategies and doing them repeatedly just on different topics, and it helped us pull information out when we were learning civics. With learning geography, things kind of change up a little bit. So I'm going to try to, at least here at the very beginning, till we get used to the format that we're going to have this in. And especially while we're getting through the introductory period in geography, I'm going to try to post regular videos helping us learn the ways to look at this information. If you've done the first assignments, the very beginning we were learning some terms, some ideas. We just got off of one on Friday where we were talking about, the different visual mapping, GPS, GIS, different ways that technology is used to create different types of maps, the different information that is used. What we're going to take a look at, I kind of explained in the very first video that there's more to geography than just looking at a map and knowing what is where. So one thing that we have to look at is how do we decide what information is important? Why is certain information important? And we have to ask questions to do that. There's two main types of questions that we're going to look at: compelling and supporting. Now, on the surface, compelling. These are going to be the questions that make you try to work toward an answer. These are what's going to drive you in a direction. Your supporting questions are exactly what it sounds like. These are the questions that you ask after the compelling question to kind of hold up that idea or that argument. Think about it like a table, like a literal, not a table like we talked about in the last lesson, like where you would look at comparisons and things, but a table as in what you would eat at. A compelling question is the top of your table. The supporting questions are your table legs. They are holding up that compelling question. So asking these questions is how we get to a deeper understanding of not only geography, but all subjects that we look at, whether it be history, science, math, English, literature, whatever it is. Questioning is how we get to a better level of understanding. So I'm gonna walk you through these assignments, and we're gonna talk about it just a little bit. Not too in depth, because I want you to actually read and go through these, because that's how you're gonna get this information. But I want you to have a good understanding of these. Because if we have a better understanding of compelling questions and supporting questions, this is going to aid us not only through this year, but next year when you are in world history. This is going to help us in that process. So we're going to click, remember we work top down, so we're going to click on the read it of compelling questions. And I'm going to make it big so we can see it just a little bit better. See if I can do this. No, okay. There we go. So we're going to try to look at compelling questions, and not only look at them, but understand what they are, how we can come up with our own. And eventually at the very bottom of this, we are going to come up with a compelling question. So introduction. To understand what a compelling question is, you must first understand what the word compelling means. The word compelling by definition means attracting interest and attention. It's going to grab your attention. It is going to make people curious. So compelling questions are meant to grab your attention and cause you to think deeply about the topic that you're discussing. Now, I know thinking deeply isn't something that, you have really dealt with before this. Not that you can't. I'm talking about in an academic setting. Deep thought is something that we are learning. So don't take it as an insult saying, I don't know, you don't know how to think deeply and things like that. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that you may not, and you probably don't, know how to dig into and think deeply about academic-based questions. So, compelling questions focus on the curiosities of how things work, interpretations, and unresolved issues that will require you to construct arguments. They are questions that are asked about topics, events, or ideas. They're open to different interpretations or opinions. That means you have multiple correct answers. This is one of those things if you've been in class with me, you know this. It's not about arguing if something is right or wrong. And you may have an opinion about something that you say it is right and everybody else is wrong. There can be multiple right answers, but the compelling question has to be held up by supporting questions. No different than in class, I would tell you that that's fine. We have our opinion, but I'm going to challenge your opinion, and I need you to have information to back up why you have that opinion. This is where this comes from. This is why I do this. Characteristics. These are important right here. Content specific. The question is going to be very specific about what it's talking about. It's going to be intriguing and intellectually honest, meaning that you're not skewing numbers or facts to try to change the result to be favorable for you. It's going to address problems and issues found across the disciplines and require you to apply concepts and skills, and will require you to construct an argument and support your argument with evidence. I'm hoping a lot of this sounds familiar for those of you that have been in class with me. If you haven't been in class with me, anytime there's a discussion of current events, anything that is opinion based, we try to follow this pattern in class. So now we're actually just seeing this written out in front of us and how to do it. Compelling questions are going to often begin with who, what, when, where, how, why, and it's not going to be a yes or no answer. It is going to be, this as a well-constructed response and longer than one sentence. That's the simple way of putting it. I want you to explain in your answer is the best way I know to say this. So it's not well, I think this. Okay, what else? Why do you think that? In your answer, I believe this is the question, and the answer is going to be, this is what it is because this, and this. You're going to explain why you have that standing. That is what we're going for here. This is not just a simple approach, simple answer. Now, I gave you some specific geography-based compelling questions. And like I said, notice there's not possible to answer these with a simple one-word answer. What is the relationship between physical geography and human geography? You can't say yes or no. You can't give one word. What must a cartographer consider when making a map? Again, you can't answer these. None of these you could give a simple answer to. And it's not because I'm trying to make answers harder for you. It's a goal of a deeper level of understanding that we're going for here. Writing compelling questions. Proactive. It's gonna grab you immediately when you hear it. If there's an interest in the topic or an understanding of the topic, it's going to grab your attention. It's going to be complex in the sense that you cannot answer it with a single answer. Real world. This one is important because you need to think how it's not just going to affect you, how this is going to affect everyone. That's a large goal when we're talking about geography. Is yes, we look at regional things, but we have to look at a larger worldview as well. And open-ended, multiple responses. You can have opinions it's okay for different people to have different opinions. You just need to be able to support your opinion. And once again, I'm going to beat a dead horse here. If you've been in class with me, you've heard these things come out of my mouth in response to our previous topics. Actionable. There needs to be a sense of urgency. Like, okay, let's figure out what we can do about this. Because we're talking questions here. Relevant. Personal connections. If you can make your question reach the person that you're asking on a personal level, then it's not that it's going to be more effective, but it is going to cause them to dig into that question further. If there's something in it that they can identify with, you make it personal, they're going to work harder and come up with a more complete answer. Challenging. It's putting forth effort. It's not going to be an easy answer, and it shouldn't be. We're creating thought processes here. Substantial, make it have substance. This does not need to be a shallow question. There needs to be more to this. And intriguing. If it grabs your attention, then there needs to be a curiosity about it. It makes you wonder. Okay, so now, at the bottom, I've told you this is not an assignment. This is to check for your understanding. Some of you will have different questions. You will not all have this one question right here. So I'm not going to go into these because it'll only show me one, but it may rotate it on yours. But you read the question, click your answer, click submit, and then you check and see, and it'll tell you yes, no, right, or wrong. If it's wrong, the reason why it's wrong. If it's right, it'll tell you why it's right. And then, you can hit refresh to clear it if you want, but there's nothing to actually submit for an assignment here. So we're going to go back. Practice it. Okay. Now, as I say, you can read the directions if you want, but we have two columns here. Think of it, this is a stack of cards. We have two columns, compelling questions and non-compelling. And you're going to click and drag the card to where you think it goes. It'll tell you if it's right or wrong, but this is just for your practice, and it's going to roll through this whole stack of questions. This is your practice. This is not an assignment. You are not going to submit this. Now, when we do the show it on this particular one, all right, read your passage here. What you're doing is you're going to read about these types of extreme weather. And when you get done, it's about a page worth of material, but there's a rubric at the bottom. This is what I'm looking for. That you wrote a compelling question that was associated with the passage, and that you used correct grammar, punctuation, and capitalization. If I'm asking you to make a sentence, I expect it to be a proper sentence. That's not even that hard. That's capitalize, proper nouns, punctuation, ending punctuation, spelling. I mean, this is not complicated here. So you read the passage, go back. Now mine's going to look a little bit different. When you click into this on your end, it's telling you you're right. A compelling question, one, not multiple, one question from that previous post. Now, your side, you will have a button over here that says Submit Assignment. Click it. You will then, in the text box that pops up, there's a thing where you can click blank, and you will type in your question. You're not attaching a PDF or anything else. That is what and then you're going to hit Submit. That's your assignment. That is how you submit it. Okay, now going back, we're going to take a look at the next section here. Supporting questions. Once again, we've got to read it here. Now remember, these are the ones I told you where a supporting question is what is going to hold up your compelling question. That's what's going, yes, support it, but this is what is going to back it up. This is what's going to, I don't want to say support your argument because it's using the word supporting in there, but this is what is going to prop it up. This is the questions for the questions to get to a further level of understanding, where if we understand it at a much deeper level, it makes it easier to understand the big picture. So I'm going to read the intro here. Compelling questions are meant to grab your attention and cause you to stop and think deeply about the topic that you are discussing. These are not the only types of questions. They're also supporting questions. Supporting questions focus on descriptions, definitions, and processes. They require you to construct or build explanations that show your understanding of the topic. Like I said, the deeper we have an understanding, the more clearly we can get to the big picture. So, characteristics lead to specific knowledge and understanding in support of the compelling question. Can be used as a guide to the compelling question. Can be answered in a single learning activity. Require a written explanation. Must be backed with evidence, and usually agreed on by most people. So think of it this way. If we had different studies that were done on, just any random topic, we don't have to be specific here, and those facts were facts. Let's say, for example, what activity we were talking about, we had done a study and it found out that we needed X, Y, and Z for that to be successful. No one disputes that we need X, Y, and Z. The opinion comes into why do we need X, Y, and Z? Why is it that we need X, Y, and Z and not A, B, C? So no one is disputing the fact that we need them. These are the supporting things. Compelling would be the one that is more open-ended. Supporting is going to be concrete. Compelling is going to be a little bit abstract. And that's honestly the best way I know to think about it. So we have to look at what is this as far as geography. For example, I'm looking at this middle one right here. Say you're asked the following compelling question. What must a cartographer consider when making a map? This is not easy for you to answer right away. To answer it, you may come up with supporting questions to help answer it. Since you're talking about a cartographer, it would be a good idea to know exactly what that is and what it has to do with making maps. So supporting question would be, what is a cartographer? Another supporting question could be, what are the components of a map? If you know what a cartographer is and the components of a map, you then can determine what the cartographer must do to make a map. So it can be that simple. Same thing. There's a matching down here that you can use for your practice. I highly recommend you do the practices. They're not required. Like I said, that's not the assignment, but it will help you. There's no way that it will not help both your understanding of the material for further use, but will also help you, when it comes time for any quizzes or test. So practice it. I'm going to click that. Because remember, we're working top down. Don't skip. Same thing. We're dealing the cards into the two columns. We have compelling question and supporting question, and we're putting it where we belong. You can go through that. You can do it multiple times to help you out. And then we're going to go into show it. Now, you can. I'm going to open it in Kami so it looks the same as it would on your end. Sometimes I use the built-in reader in Chrome, and it looks differently. So I'm going to try it this way. So, supporting questions. Compelling question: how does location affect a society's economy, culture, and development? I know your first thing you're probably thinking is, well, I'm not really sure what the economy is or the culture is or the development. I'll give you a clue. You kind of just answered your own questions as to what supporting questions would be. If the compelling question is going to be a supporting question, how does location affect a society's economy, culture, and development is what is the economy of the location? What is the culture of the location? What is culture? Same thing on the next one. Don't think about it too deeply. So there are 4 compelling questions here, and you're coming up with 2 supporting questions for each one. Like I said, the clue is when you are looking at the compelling question, think about the questions that come to your mind when you're reading it. Like if you don't understand it, though, that's kind of what we're going for here, because the supporting questions aid in the understanding of the compelling question. So if you read the compelling question and there's something that you're unsure of, that can lead you down the road to a very good supporting question. But once again, proper spelling, proper grammar. That's what I'm looking for. I don't want to have to try to decipher what you mean, and I shouldn't feel like I'm looking at a second grade paper that you've never learned how to put together a sentence. You are older than that. That's the best thing that I know for you as far as the best way to think it. Think about it. Sorry, it's early, and I'm recording this on the day that it's the snow day, so my brain's not in full fire anyway. We were thrown off. If you have any questions, send me a message on Schoology. I say again, when you send me a message, create a new thread. Go to the course, click on my name, and then send me a message. Put a subject. Let me know what it is that you're talking about, and then put the body of your message in the body of the message. Don't put everything in the subject line. And don't respond to, an announcement that I made, a few months ago. When you send me messages, I need to see them in the relevance of what's going on. So I think that'll help you in that regard. Once we get past this point, we'll be able to start getting into actually specific regions of the world. And I think that's what you will be looking forward to in this course. And that's what I'm looking forward to teaching, to be honest, because then we can get a better understanding. We're going to have more of these compelling questions. We're going to have more of these supporting questions to learn what it is that we're doing. So I wish you luck. If you have any questions, send me a message. If nothing else, have a good day.